So, how do I know that Martin Brundle and David Croft and the rest of the Sky Sports F1 team were in on the fix, were all part of the global fraud? Well, the race itself was broadcast on other TV stations as well. Okay, the sport of Formula One contract Sky to broadcast it as one of their contracted global broadcasters. But because it was the last race of the season and it was such a pivotal event, they actually broadcast it on terrestrial TV with the intention of getting as big an audience as possible. So it was broadcast in the UK also on Channel 4. So here is what the Channel 4 commentators say. David Coulthard is one of these commentators. Don't know who the other guy is, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to play you through that from the point of Latifi's crash through to the end of the race, and we'll pick out the key differences. Now, you need to remember this. Remember Brundle and Crofty going, "Oh, and how long will they wait? They don't have to let the lapped cars through. I don't think that's mandatory in the regulations, but that's normally on a wet day. And oh, but that's going to leave Verstappen with a lot to do. And oh, and it's ending, and it's ending. Wow, all that, yeah. You've heard that countless times, okay? Where they are disorientating you, where they're lying about the rules before the rules are even broken, to give you all these scenarios which they're suggesting may be possible to get a restart of the race. That is what they're doing before the rules are broken. David Coulthard and the other guy, on the other hand, you'll hear something slightly different. So I've tried to sync these the best that I can. So what you see on the left-hand side of the screen is the YouTube video that's been uploaded. Matt Leando, he's got 573 subscribers on his YouTube channel. Go and check him out by all means. I'm going to play through what he has uploaded from the Channel 4 commentary track. I'm going to play that alongside the 2021 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix footage from F1 TV. And hopefully they'll be synced well enough for you to see, well, so that the commentary corresponds with the visuals. So let's see how it goes. Let's do that, and let's go.
Oh, and we've got a car into the wall. It's Nicholas Latifi in Sector 3, and we've got a completely different situation.
Yeah.
That is a safety car.
That's a safety car because they'll not be able to recover that. I don't think there's a crane in that position, Mark. If that's in the same place where Verstappen binned it, so this changes things.
I don't believe this season. I just can't believe what we've seen in 2021. Nicholas Latifi is the second Williams out of the Grand Prix.
Hamilton shaking his head, cannot believe it. Cannot believe it. He knows what this means. This actually, hold on. Can they get this recovered within the time? I think this could well be us running to the checkered flag onto safety car.
5 laps to go. There's no crane down there from the top of my head. It's very narrow down there. And it took them a very long time to recover Kimi Räikkönen out of the same part of racetrack.
Yeah,
and in comes Verstappen.
Yeah. So I think with these amount of laps left, and this I have completely lost it, you can start practicing. Lewis Hamilton, 8-time world champion.
Coulthard, what do you think, David? I think with this amount of time left in the race, you can start practicing. Lewis Hamilton, 8-time world champion. Did Sky Sports ever say that? Ever once?
Box. Negative.
Oh, they're nervous down there. I cannot believe this. It is now down to the marshals. Of all the things we've seen this year, the speed of the marshals comes into whether this is going to be a restarted race.
Just trying to sync it better.
Let's see what went on here. This is the battle down into 9. Nice, well, initially, nice track position around the outside. As the contact come later in the corner.
He's just going to lose it by himself.
Yeah, I think he's got dirt on the tyres, and as he's tried to stay close to the Haas in front. Silly little mistake there, just lost the rear end, got a bit wide onto the marbles. There's a lot of debris even when they pick up that car.
Again, I've pointed this out on other videos. Look at what are F1 TV playing you now? They're playing you footage of the Mercedes pit garage taking out Lewis Hamilton's tyres and then not being able to change him onto those tyres. Okay, this happened minutes before. This is a replay. This is what they're selecting to show you. This is the narrative they're creating, making it all about the tyres. Tyres are irrelevant. What's relevant is the race going to restart? What are the rules? What are the regulations? What needs to happen in order to see a restart to this race? And what needs to happen, which is never broken down by anybody, is that the cars that have been lapped have to be given the order to unlap and have unlapped, have passed the leader and the safety car before the end of lap 56. That has to happen. Then lap 57 can be that mandatory safety car lap that those release cars are afforded, with which to attempt to catch the back of the pack. And then the safety car can come in at the end of lap 57, and that will enable lap 58 to be a racing lap. That procedure has to happen, and it has to happen like that to have a racing lap. Otherwise, it will be a safety car finish. No two ways about it. As commentators of a sport, you should have a sufficient knowledge of the sport to be able to articulate that to the fans. Coulthard is a former racing driver. Coulthard has told you with 5 laps to go, he thinks this race isn't going to restart, and we should start practicing Lewis Hamilton, 8-time world champion. He hasn't broken it down that way. Whether it's because he doesn't have the intellect to break it down that way, I don't know. Martin Brundle and David Croft can't break it down that way. They lie about it. These are the so-called experts that should have the expertise in order to break the bare bones down to you like that. And they can't. But rather than just not be able to, they lied. They lied, and they lied to you about the different possibilities. And that fitted the narrative before the rules were broken. Coincidence? You really think so?
What's the situation behind
So, situation is, Verstappen has pitted. He had a free pit stop. We would have lost track position to him. 4 laps remaining when you cross the line. So this field has to bunch, and then they have to send lap cars through. So it may not restart.
Is he right behind me?
He will be once they've sorted out all the order. This is going to take a while to sort out.
With new tyres?
Copy, Lewis. We would have lost track position if we had pitted.
You compare this with the Sky Sports commentary. Crofty and Brundle are straight in on everything like that. Straight in on it. Oh, which means, okay, constantly disorientating you, constantly leading you to believe that this restart is going to happen and what the implications are going to be and what it is you're going to see, conditioning you for that to all happen ahead of it happening. You're not hearing that on the Channel 4 commentary, are you?
The safety car's not going full gas down the straight.
Copy, Lewis, understood.
What's happened here?
We've got
Perez is coming
coming.
to the pits.
Retiring
Perez.
the car. That's retirement.
It is indeed. As Carlos Sainz has been promoted to the podium, another podium in his maiden season with Ferrari. It'd be his fourth if you can finish in that position. What happened?
Checo.
Did Sky Sports ever mention that Carlos Sainz has now been promoted to third and is now on the podium? I don't remember that once.
We need to retire the car. We need to retire the car. Box.
Really?
Yeah, box.
Race control. Lap cars will not be able to overtake. Lap cars will not be able to overtake.
Well, in that case then, Hamilton's got a free run to the checkered here. Because
We're going to restart it,
yeah.
but we're not going to let the cars go through.
yeah, so that means that Verstappen has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 cars between him and Hamilton.
When do we do that?
We do it when you
Right, that's a lack of knowledge. That's a lack of understanding of the rules and regulations. That, or Coulthard has believed Brundle's lies. Martin Brundle is an extremely influential character, it would seem, so that when he commentates on the race, ever since 2012, when the rules did change, the regulations changed to reintroduce the unlapping of the lapped cars, ever since then, Brundle, at every safety car situation where the leaders have started lapping the cars that towards the back of the pack, Brundle has still presented this notion of, are they going to let the lapped cars go, even though it states that that's what you've got to do in the regulations. Okay, and Brundle has constantly suggested the notion it's not mandatory. He doesn't think it's mandatory. Well, Brundle, it doesn't matter what you think. It is mandatory. And there's a reason. Nobody asks the why. Nobody in this world these days is encouraged to look for reasons. They're just expected to accept what they are told on face value without exploring the underlying reasons. Oh yeah, it's just like that. Don't you worry your little heads why. Okay, it benefits us if it's like that, but you don't need to worry about that. All that you need to know is it's just like that. Okay? Don't you worry, little heads. You go carrying on living your best life. That's what they want you to think. They don't want you to be able to reason. They don't want you to be able to critically think, critically analyse the situation, because if you're capable of doing that, you'll realise that they're trousering you. They're bending you over and taking you for a ride. And I'm talking about those with the wealth and the power and the ability to influence the narrative that's impacting your lives. Because this isn't just about Formula One. The mechanisms that you see take place in this fixed event, they translate to the mechanisms that take place for the decisions that are made in your country that impact your life. So you need to wake up to this notion. It's far more than just Formula One. This is just the example, the clear example that can be evidenced, that is being evidenced, that this is how corruption works. So, there is a reason why you release the lapped cars. You cannot go racing with them in situ. That being said, the caveat being, you have to be able to qualify. You've got to meet the criteria to be released. All of these cars met the criteria. You cannot allow Lando Norris and the cars just behind him to lose a lap on Pierre Gasly, the guy that they were challenging for position, for them point scoring positions. Hence the regulations being what they are, hence having to carry out the procedures. You also can't have it that you've cleared the path for second place to challenge first, but you've left third place being impeded by two of the cars, which, although they'll just have to part like the Red Sea and allow him to pass through, he's still now 2 seconds back on the road because they're in the way. Right? You can't allow that to happen. That's not fair. So you can't do it, hence the regulation. So this notion of, oh, if we resume racing with the lapped cars in situ, then the guy that's chasing him, he's not got much of a chance. You just categorically can't do it. Where it says about in the regulations, the wording is, if it is safe to do so, you carry out this procedure. If it is not safe to do so, you carry on lapping behind the safety car. Because if it's not safe to release the lapped cars, it's certainly not safe to go racing. Lapped cars in situ or not. It is very simple. But Brundle will have you believe otherwise, because he's an agent. He's being paid to hype the show up, to make you think that anything is possible. And that's not true. Let's keep going.
Just keep amending and negotiating and changing the rules as the season unfolds.
And what does that say? Coulthard has just said they just keep negotiating and amending and changing the rules as this season unfolds. The entire season. Coulthard knows that this has been set up for Max Verstappen. Coulthard knows that in previous seasons, Max Verstappen would have been penalised for the offences that he committed. Brazil 2021, Saudi 2021, driving another car off the track would have caused a crash had the other car not jumped out of the way. I could list all of the other infringements that they just allowed Verstappen to get away with just to manufacture this close title battle. Coulthard's just stated that, in effect.
Cancel that.
Right, I'm just trying to sync this better. So this is the bit where F1 TV choose to play this message to make it sound like Red Bull are being hard done by. All right, we're coming round to the end of lap 56. This is the key lap, the lap upon which these lapped cars have to be released upon in order for lap 57 to be that mandatory safety car lap, in order for it to have any chance of a racing lap on lap 58. And we will go by the scene of the crash on lap 56 and see the marshals, which is the clear reason why the lapped cars couldn't be released, and the clear reason why this message that you're about to hear is completely irrelevant. But they choose to play it to you.
Lap cars will not be allowed to overtake.
Yeah, of course. Typical decision.
It's classic.
I'm not surprised.
Man, I don't even know what to tell you anymore. There are so many rules this year that have been redrawn, and this one goes against Red Bull. Some in Saudi went for Red Bull, some in Brazil definitely went Red Bull.
It's not that the rules going against Red Bull. It's that there's marshals on the track underneath that play button in the middle of the screen. They're not changing the rules here. They're just carrying out procedure because there's marshals on the track and it's not safe to release lapped cars whilst the track hasn't been declared safe. But again, we've got somebody that's employed as a figure, right? A talking head employed by the media that doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about. Doesn't have the expertise in order to educate you. But they get the nicely paid job, right? They get the role on TV as the presenter, as the commentator, not got the fucking credentials to do so. And yet the likes of me never get the chance of that because you speak the truth and you can't be manipulated by pricks.
Red Bull's way, but Michael Massey was under pressure before and he will be under enormous pressure. The track appears to be clear, but we have gone on to another lap and Lewis Hamilton is heading to an 8th championship of the world here.
So we've gone on to another lap. Lewis Hamilton is heading to an 8th championship of the world. Did you hear that on Sky Sports? Did you hear Martin Brundle and David Croft tell you that? We're now on lap 57. The lapped cars were not released. Even if they are released on this lap, then that means the safety car needs to stay out for a further lap, which will be lap 58, which means it's a safety car finish, which means as long as he stays on track, Lewis Hamilton's an 8-time world champion. At this moment in time. That's what it means. Nothing else. And remember, at that moment in time, you've got Brundle saying, because I think the safety car will be coming in at the end of this lap, and there will be one racing lap. And then later on in this lap, we get, indeed, will the safety car come in this lap? We think it could do, should do. Is there any marshals on track clearing up the debris after we've just seen them jumping over the barrier? And then, oh, the race director's saying that lapped cars now will overtake. And then they list the 5 and Brundle goes, and it's ending, wow! That's your Sky Sports narrative. That's them narrating the script. You're not hearing that from Channel 4, are you? You've got these people that still have no real expertise, but they've got enough expertise to know what really needs to happen. They can't break down the details of it. They can't get to the crux of the matter, but they still know it's wrong, and they still know the situation we're now in. Right.
Christian and Michael.
Yes, go ahead, Christian.
Yeah, why aren't we getting these lap cars out of the way?
Just give me, well, because Christian, just give me a second. Okay, my big one is to get this incident clear.
You only need one racing lap.
Lap cars, mate, will now overtake. What is going on?
It's make it up as you go along.
What is happening? The decision has been reversed. What?
Michael.
I'm afraid to say, you guys correct me if I'm wrong, Michael Massey's hand at the wheel is struggling here.
Michael, this isn't right.
This is unbelievable. This is incredible. If you've never watched Formula One before, if this is the day that you're watching, it's
It's unbelievable, but it's incredible though, isn't it? Okay? Rather than call out that it's not allowed to happen, we've still got to go with it, and we've got to say, oh, whatever happens, it's still unbelievable, and it's still incredible. Get the fans excited. Keep them excited. Yeah, there's you can get a job keeping people excited. It's called a fluffer.
never normally like this. Max Verstappen is almost overtaking Lewis Hamilton. Got to be careful if he does that. Mercedes could appeal because everything will be appealed. This is barely believable. One lap of the World Championship to go, and Lewis Hamilton is close now. He's 3.6 miles away from a World Championship battle that is so confusing and so controversial. It cannot be true, but it is. And there's a last lap shootout for the Championship of the world.
Yeah, you've said it, Alex. We just don't know what to think. We just don't know what we're seeing. But something else is going to happen on this lap. Prepare yourself, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, Hamilton was wide. He was very wide. This is barely believable. Verstappen's going for it to the inside. Max Verstappen takes the lead of the Grand Prix and the World Championship on turn 5 of the last lap. And now he's trying to break the toe with Hamilton coming closer all the time. This is unbelievable. He's weaving all over the road. He's got to be careful. Mercedes will appeal that many changes of direction. But the Championship of the world is on the line. This is turn 6. He's wide out of 6. Hamilton's not done yet. We're going to go to turn number 9 on the last lap.
No, Mikey, no, Mikey, that was so not right.
Mercedes are distraught, but Hamilton's not out of this one yet, and Verstappen's going to squeeze him all the way, and he will maintain the lead. Can Hamilton come back here? He can't, and the Formula One World Championship has been decided in barely credible circumstances. It's involved Verstappen, it's involved Hamilton, but it's also involved race control, and you will never hear the end of this, because Max Verstappen is nearly home. This is unbelievable. Race control got involved. Max Verstappen made the pass on the last lap, and as he comes over the line, Max Verstappen is the world champion of 2021 in the most unbelievable finish to a Formula One season you will ever see. Red Bull are exultant. Mercedes will be gutted. The Netherlands have their first title winner. You are...
Yes! Oh my God!
You are looking at the 34th champion of the world, and his name is Max Verstappen.
So, if you want to go and listen to that yourself, that takes you to 1:39:44 on that YouTuber's video. So that's Matt Leando, and it's the 2021 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix Channel 4 commentary track. The thing was fixed. F1 TV constructed the narrative with the footage that they constructed to show you, the messages that they interjected between the teams and the drivers that they played to you, the messages between the teams and Michael Massey that they played to you, to build the narrative, to condition you to believe the story that was unfolding before your eyes. Martin Brundle and David Croft of Sky TV embellished all of that and narrated it. This is a different version. This is the Channel 4 commentary. Quite a lot different, isn't it? But you're still dealing with media presenters that aren't going to call out the truth. They're going to go with what is going on because they realise that their jobs are on the line. They've got to go with the narrative. They can't expose it, else it's going to impact their careers. Either that, or they don't really know. They don't really have the credentials to do what it takes, to have the knowledge, the ultimate knowledge to do it. Their talent is just talking and keeping people entertained. Whoopie-doo. And that's good enough for most people, because most people's actual depth of intellect when it comes to stuff like this is minimal. They don't know, but they don't think. They don't examine reason. They just take things on face value and accept. They don't question people. They don't suspect people to be inauthentic. I do. My life has taught me to be wary of a lot of people because I have experienced a lot of corruption. I've dealt with many snakes in life. That makes me wary of many people. But it's not a bad thing because it's justified. Self-preservation. But that's not to say that we're foolproof. We're certainly not. We're certainly not. All of us are susceptible to being caught out by malevolence, because you can try and treat people with positive regard and it leaves you vulnerable to that. That's life. That's life. Anyway, I've also found the BBC's commentary, the radio commentary. So the next video is going to be me going through the same footage played alongside the BBC commentary. And we'll see if Andrew Benson's BBC's F1 crew were in on the fix. Let's have a look. Until next time.